Fantastically well today. I wanted to take a few moments to answer any questions that you may have as it relates to leadership. So this is a live leadership Q&A. If you are in a leadership role and perhaps you are either starting out on your leadership journey, or perhaps you have been in a leadership role for a few years, or if you are a seasoned leader, perhaps in a C-suite position or in a executive level role or in senior management, this is a great place for you to be. I'm going to share with you over 20 experience as a director and an executive coach, public speaker that will help you on your journey to avoid some of the very common mistakes that can happen when you are in a leadership position. Now, I do want to preface this by saying that I was asked a few questions about this topic specifically, and I want to be able to answer some of those questions that were provided to me offline, and of course, provide support with my followers and subscribers here on YouTube to help you answer any questions that you may have so that you can continue moving forward and elevate your communication skills as a leader. So I want to start with the very first question that I was asked, and that question related to specifically how to have situations when they come up. Now, I'll share with you a couple of strategies that I do specifically to help people have those very difficult conversations. And the way that I like to start having those conversations is by understanding that I am talking to a person that is across the room from me, or perhaps by my side or close by, and they have a life and they have their own personal things going on too. Now, there's times when, as a leader, you may have to redirect them to do something that is more in alignment with them being an individual or being in a specific role. But if there's something sensitive that's going on and you need to talk to them about it, then I like to always open up the conversation with an open-ended question. Not a yes or no question or anything along those lines. I would definitely open up with a yes, not a yes or no, but I would open it up with situations. For instance, how are things going for you? Are there any areas that I can support you in as a leader, or as your manager, or as your supervisor, whatever role you're in right now? You might want to ask something along those lines. That will at least help the person to feel a bit more comfortable that they have something that they want to talk to you about. So I do want to say hello to everyone that's joined today. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome, welcome. Glad that you all are here today. Hi, how are you? I see someone's name. I can't actually see that. I don't know what the reading is, so I'm sorry about that. But if you have any questions specifically as it relates to leadership development, some mistakes or some challenges that you might be having as a leader, regardless of what role you're in, learn from my over 20 years of experience as a C-suite executive, a manager, and a director. I will provide you with some very real, honest, candid support that will help you on your journey. So, okay, so it says, hey, could you please pronounce my name? It's hi. Okay, thanks. Okay, I'm sorry if hopefully I got it correctly. I hope I did. So, but yes, so one of the things that, as I mentioned, when you're having those difficult conversations as a leader, people don't know how to have it. And I started off with an open-ended type of question. How are things going? Is there anything with your role that we need to talk about, or is there a certain situation that you want to discuss? Have it in an open-ended type of way, because when you come into a conversation and you know it's going to be a difficult conversation, if you come into the conversation, basically have the person sit down, your arms folded, and you're just like, well, what happened? That doesn't give the person the opportunity to want to speak to you about it, and they most likely are going to be really annoyed, and they're going to close off and probably not tell you anything. And that's not what you want to hear as a leader. As a leader, you want to know and learn like as much as you can. Believe it or not, the people that are leaders, they know a lot. Their peers and coworkers may think they don't know what's going on, but no, most of the leaders that are good leaders, oh, they know exactly what's going on. And the way you find out what's going on is by asking those very honest, open-ended conversations and questions. And so that's the answer I would give for the individual that asked specifically, how do you start a difficult conversation, is coming at the conversation knowing you're talking to somebody that has their own life, they have their own things going on, and then being able to have that conversation with them and talk to them about it. So if this information has been helpful to you, feel free to like this video. It does help it to reach more individuals that are trying to enhance their leadership skills just like yourself, and subscribe if you find the information to be helpful. Now, the other question I was asked while I'm waiting for any questions to come in the chat here was specifically, what do you do when you have someone that is not performing the way that you would like for them to? And this goes along the lines of a difficult conversation. It can be difficult, but what I've found in situations specifically like this is if you have someone that you're working with that is an underperformer and they are not doing what you would like for them to do as it relates to their specific role or their job, you want to have a conversation with them and just a check-in. How are things going? Kind of similar to a difficult conversation, but you may want to be more specific about their role. For example, I've had these conversations. I can't even tell you how many times I've had these conversations. But what I would do in a situation like that, if you know someone is underperforming, talk about the good things they're doing so far. So I would tell that individual, you're doing a fantastic job with this particular project. I've seen how much you have grown in this particular role. I know there's this other project that's going on, and I know there's been some challenges that have happened with the project. So tell me what your thoughts are about it. What are some things that you think are working really well with you in this project? And perhaps what are some aspects of the project that are not working as well? And after that, be quiet. Just listen to what they have to say. Just listen to what they have to say. They will tell you what they are struggling with, because they will feel like they can have that open dialogue with you to freely talk about it, because you're giving them acknowledgments about the things they're doing very well in. And so they'll feel more comfortable saying, oh, I would say I'm having a hard time with this part of the project. This is what I'm struggling in. And then at that point, you can have that conversation to say, well, I appreciate you letting me know about that you're struggling with this particular part of the project. What are some tasks or some strategies that we might be able to use that can help you with this project so that you can increase your productivity, performance, or whatever the case may be, and let them talk to you about it. And if they give you some great strategies, acknowledge they gave you great strategies. If they give you strategies that are a bit vague, then that's your responsibility as a leader to be able to talk to them and give them more concrete strategies that will be more effective. Now, when you have conversations like this, especially with someone that is underperforming, what happens most of the time with leaders is that they have these conversations verbally and they go away and there's nothing else that happens. I would recommend you not to do that. And the reason being is that I have found when you have conversations with underperformers, depending on how much they're underperforming, you're probably going to have that conversation again. And you may have it again after that. So what happens on the opposite end is if you have someone that is not performing to the level where you want them to be at, then they will continue to underperform, but you haven't really documented that you had this conversation with this person. And so documentation is very, very important if you are dealing with a situation where you have someone that is not performing at the level that you want them to be at, but you want to have a conversation about it. And you may want to start the conversation with that particular individual, just starting off saying that, really glad we're here. I'll definitely take notes just so that I can make sure we're on the same page as it relates to this specific project, to see how we can enhance it and get your feedback and see what strategies you would recommend for us to do to enhance it. That's a great way for you to keep things organized as a leader so people know what to expect when they talk to you. It's a fantastic way to build your executive presence. And if this is something you want to learn more about, then you should be subscribed to this channel, because executive presence is something that I have a tremendous amount of experience in, and I can definitely help you learn some strategies and some techniques that will be able to help you on your journey to do things that a lot of people don't talk about on YouTube. But having that conversation and making sure that you document it is very, 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 very important. So I want to say hello, Valentine. Hello, hello. Hope you are doing well today. And if you have any questions specifically as it relates to leadership development, or perhaps some challenges that you're facing as a leader, whether you are a new leader, mid-level, or you are a established executive, feel free to let me know. I've had over 20 years experience as a C-suite executive and a manager and a director, and can provide you with some real life insights that can probably help you quite a bit on your journey. So whenever this happens, documentation, as I mentioned, is very, very important. When